Dear students, welcome to our online class, and today we are going to see about ring opening polymerization. Let's quickly see about ring opening polymerization. It is otherwise known as self-condensation polymerization, a polymerization in which a cyclic monomer yields an acyclic polymer, which is termed as a ring opening polymerization. So I have given an example here, caprolactam, which is a cyclic monomer, and after polymerization you see the product obtained is nylon 6. So opening of a ring gives you an acyclic polymer. This is termed as ring opening polymerization. So each and every type of polymerization you have a reactive site or a initiator. In the case of ring opening polymerization, the terminal group of a polymer chain acts as a reactive center that we will see in the coming slides. So there are two main steps in ring opening polymerization. Number one is the ring opening, and number two is addition of the broken bond. So the monomer is added to the broken bond, and there are three mechanisms in which the ring opening polymerization can take place. Number one is anionic, number two is cationic, and number three is free radical. There are various types of cyclic monomers that can be polymerized using this polymerization, but the important thing is that those cyclic monomers should contain a heteroatoms in the ring. So if it contains an oxygen atom, then the heteroatom monomers must be ethers, acetals, or esters, and it may contain sulfur or it may contain nitrogen. The important thing is it should contain a heteroatom in the cycle, so that the polymerization should carry on. In this slide you are going to see about the factors that drives ring opening polymerization. Number one is angle strain. It is otherwise known as ring strain. Here is an example for angle strain. In epoxides, the angle between the carbons are 60 degree. Usually the sp3 hybridized carbon, the angle is 109 degree, but in the case of 3-membered ring, the angle is reduced to 60 degree, hence it feels a strain. Such type of strain is called as angle strain. So epoxides are more reactive, hence it is easy to polymerize these epoxides. The other type of strain is torsional strain, and this type of strain arises because of the restricted rotation between carbon-carbon single bond. You have seen in this diagram there are two methyl groups in eclipsed position, hence there is a strain occurs during its rotation. Such type of strain is known as torsional strain. So these two types of strains drives the polymerization process. So now I am going to relate these two types of strains with the thermodynamic factors. In the left side of this table I have given the number of chains in the monomer. If you have 3-membered ring as a monomer, then the delta G, the free energy change, is minus 92.5, and if you have 4-membered ring as a monomer, then the delta G value is minus 88.7. It is known that if a delta G is negative, then the reaction will takes place easily. Hence on seeing this table, you can feel that the 3-membered ring, 4-membered ring can be polymerized easily, but in the case of 6-membered ring, the delta G value is positive, hence the 6-membered rings are very stable and you cannot easily polymerize a 6-membered ring. And finally I have given the polymerizability of lactams. So the type of polymerization and the order of polymerizability are given in this table. So if the type of polymerization is anionic, then the 7-membered ring lactams can be polymerized easily. So is the case for hydrolytic polymerization. In the case of cationic polymerization, 8-membered ring monomer can be polymerized easily. So now the ring opening polymerization consists of both chain and step polymerization. So as for the kinetics and mechanisms are concerned, we cannot pinpoint it is a chain polymerization or it is a step polymerization. Both chain and step polymerization can occur. So in this mechanism, the ionic mechanism is preferred instead of free radical mechanism. So for our first example, in the case of ring opening polymerization, I took epoxide. First I am going to explain about the ring opening of epoxide. In this slide you see that there is a epoxide molecule is present, and a base a nucleophile OH minus is going to attack one carbon of the epoxide. In the first step, the hydroxide functions as a nucleophile and opens the ring in an SN2 process. So after the attack of the nucleophile, the bond between oxygen and carbon gets opened. So it forms a negative charge at one end of the oxygen, and in the next step a proton is transferred from the solvent to form ethylene glycol, and this reaction is thermodynamically favored due to the relief of ring stain that I have told earlier. Now we are going to apply the same concept in the case of epoxide polymerization. So in the last slide we have took a nucleophile OH minus, but in the case of ring opening polymerization, the initiator must be an alkali metal inorganic bases like MT metal or metal alkalis or electron transfer catalyst mechanism. Now the metal along with the alkali acts as a nucleophile in this polymerization. So the B minus attacks the carbon, and in the next step the bond between carbon and oxygen gets broken, and at the one end you have O minus and the metal with positive charge, and this is the first step. And this O minus then attacks the fresh epoxide, and this step goes on to produce the epoxide polymer. And the same mechanism I have put here also, and a new carbon oxygen bond is formed. The second step also a new carbon oxygen bond is formed, and repeating this step you get polyethylene glycol PEG. So these polyethylene glycols can be used in ointments and used in our toothpaste as a binder. Our second example in ring opening polymerization is caprolactam. So lactams are cyclic amides formed by the intramolecular amidation of amino acid. This is an example for the amidation reaction. At the one end of the molecule you have amine group, and the other end you have carboxylic acid group. So amidation reaction takes place intramolecularly by the elimination of water. So you get a cyclic amide which is known as caprolactam. The ring opening polymerization of lactams, especially caprolactam, that is 7-membered lactams are known as caprolactam, so which provides a valuable condensation, non-condensation route for the synthesis of nylon. So if you polymerize caprolactam, the bond between the NH and carbonyl group CO gets broken to form nylon 6. In the next slides we will look into the mechanism of this nylon formation. So in this slide we are going to see about the mechanism of ring opening polymerization, especially the caprolactam. You have the caprolactam ring, and here is the first carbon, that is the carbonyl carbon, and here is the 6th carbon, and the 7th position of the ring is occupied by NH group. So the first step is the metal hydride. This acts as a base, so it abstracts one hydrogen from the nitrogen, and the N becomes a negative charge. So this is the activated monomer now, and this activated monomer is going to attack the carbonyl carbon of the first monomer. So this is again the first carbon, and this is the 6th carbon. So this N minus attacks the carbonyl carbon, and what happens, the bond between N and carbon gets broken, and this bond shifts to the nitrogen. So this is the product of the first reaction. So after the attacking of N minus at carbonyl carbon, what gets, this is the first carbon, and this is the second carbon of the broken ring, and this is the 6th carbon, and you have a negative charge at nitrogen. So now this becomes the fresh metal hydride. So here is the metal, and here is the base. So this now abstracts the hydrogen of the 3rd monomer, so it becomes NH2. This becomes NH2, and this becomes an activated monomer here as N minus. You see, this is the third monomer. Again, it is the N minus, the activated monomer here. Now it attacks the second monomer, which is the growing polymer chain, you see, and here is the carbonyl carbon. This is the first one, and you see there are 6 carbons attached here. It is represented as like a ring here. So now it attacks here, and the ring between this nitrogen and carbon gets broken. So the ring now goes on increasing. Again, this becomes a negative charge at the nitrogen, and this is the fourth monomer, and the fourth monomer, the hydrogen from the fourth monomer is abstracted by this nitrogen, and now it becomes activated monomer and attracts the fresh polymer chain, and it goes on. So finally we get the nylon 6. Now we move on to the group transfer polymerization. The group transfer polymerization was discovered by Webster, whose scientist work in DuPont, an American company. During the 1980s, he discovered the group transfer polymerization. The group transfer polymerization, as the name suggests, it is the transfer of a group from the initiator to the monomer, and from the first monomer to the second monomer, and so on. And in the case of group transfer polymerization, it should take an organosilicon as an initiator, and you should take a catalyst. The catalyst used here is the bifluoride, and the monomers used are alpha beta unsaturated esters, or alpha beta unsaturated ketones, nitrates, etc. So here is the example. I took methyl methacrylate and the initiator. So the reaction goes on, and the product is polymethyl methacrylate. And here is the mechanism of group transfer polymerization. So in this reaction, the trimethyl silyl group gets transferred from the initiator molecule to an incoming monomer. So you see, the group transfer initiator here is methoxy trimethyl siloxy methyl propene. So there is a trimethyl silicol or silyl group present in the initiator, and our monomer is methyl methacrylate, and we took the catalyst, bifluoride catalyst. So the reaction goes on. So in the mechanism, the carbonyl carbon of our monomer took the trimethyl silyl group of the initiator, and there is a bond shifting, and the final product is there is a shifting of the silyl group from the initiator to the monomer. And after this step, there is the silyl group is present in the first monomer. So when the second monomer comes in, this trimethyl silyl group gets transferred into the second monomer, and the reaction goes on. So this type of transfer takes place. So this type of polymerization is known as group transfer polymerization. The important thing in the case of group transfer polymerization is that polymers obtained are living polymers, and the methyl methacrylate, that is a polymethyl methacrylate, can be used in automobile lightings, in the manufacture of artificial teeth, to build greenhouses, and can be used as intraocular lenses. Dear students, in this video you have learnt about ring opening polymerization technique and group transfer polymerization. Hope you understood the concept well. Thank you. Bye.